This text below is an overview article about Juneteenth. Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, is an important holiday in the United States that commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. The name, Juneteenth, is a combination of June and 19th, and refers to the date when the news of emancipation reached enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, on June 19, 1865. To provide some historical context, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on September 22, 1862, declaring that all enslaved individuals in Confederate territory would be considered free. However, it took time for this news to reach all parts of the country due to the ongoing Civil War. It was not until Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, on June 19, 1865, and read General Order No. 3 that enslaved people in Texas learned of their freedom. Juneteenth has since become a symbolic day, representing the end of slavery in the United States. It holds significant cultural and historical importance for African Americans and has been celebrated annually ever since. The holiday gained more recognition and popularity over the years, with various communities and states organizing events, parades, and gatherings to honor African American history and achievements. On June 17, 2021, Juneteenth was officially recognized as a federal holiday in the United States when President Joe Biden signed it into law. This designation acknowledges the significance of Juneteenth in American history and promotes nationwide observance and reflection on the enduring struggles for freedom and equality. Juneteenth celebrations often include activities such as public readings of the Emancipation Proclamation, historical reenactments, prayer services, music performances, art exhibitions, and educational programs highlighting African American culture and heritage. It is a time for communities to come together, reflect on the past, and promote the values of freedom, justice, and equality for all. It's worth noting that while Juneteenth is widely observed, it is not a mandatory public holiday in all states. However, the federal recognition of Juneteenth as a holiday aims to encourage broader acknowledgement and observance across the entire country. This content is primarily intended to help you acquire and expand your English vocabulary. We are learning American English. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for considering subscribing to see more exciting videos. Juneteenth. Juneteenth is June 19th, the day when people in some American states celebrate the ending of slavery. Juneteenth is June 19th, the day when people in some American states celebrate the ending of the system of buying and selling people, especially people taken from Africa, as the property of another person and forcing them to work for that person.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Examples of Juneteenth in the sentence. Juneteenth was declared a state holiday in Texas in 1979. This is the second year a Juneteenth celebration has been held at Seattle Center. Florida is among the states that officially observe Juneteenth, although it is not a state holiday. They threw a big party for Juneteenth. They said this year's Juneteenth had a new meaning. The Juneteenth debate could be equally emotional and controversial. Juneteenth is a significant holiday commemorated on June 19th each year, celebrating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. Juneteenth marks the day when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, in 1865 to announce the end of slavery, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. Juneteenth is a time for reflection and remembrance of the struggles endured by African Americans throughout history and the ongoing fight for equality and justice. Many communities across the United States observe Juneteenth with parades, music festivals, picnics, educational events, and other cultural celebrations. Juneteenth is an opportunity to honor the contributions and achievements of African Americans in shaping the cultural, social, and economic fabric of the United States. Juneteenth serves as a reminder of the resilience, strength, and perseverance of African Americans in the face of oppression and systemic racism. The recognition and observance of Juneteenth have gained increased prominence in recent years as more states and organizations have officially recognized it as a holiday. Juneteenth is a time to educate and raise awareness about the historical significance of slavery, the struggle for civil rights, and the ongoing work towards racial justice. Juneteenth represents a call to action to address systemic inequalities and work towards creating a more inclusive and equitable society for all. Celebrating Juneteenth fosters a sense of unity and solidarity, promoting dialogue, understanding, and the importance of recognizing and confronting the injustices of the past to build a better future. Slavery. Slavery is the act of legally owning other people who are forced to work for or obey you. Slavery is the condition of being legally owned by someone else and forced to work for or obey them. Slavery is the condition of being legally owned by someone else, or the system in which some people are owned by others. Slavery is the practice of having slaves. Slavery is the state of being a slave. Examples of slavery in the sentence. William Wilberforce campaigned for the abolition of slavery. Those states still had slavery. Millions of Africans were sold into slavery. These kids are victims. This is no better than slavery. Beneath the surface of contemporary West Indian life lurk memories of slavery. His African American parents had fled Kentucky to escape slavery. St. Louis was one of the few Midwestern cities that had slavery. Shackles are one of the most potent symbols of slavery. The American Civil War was fought between the North and the South over the issue of slavery. France abolished slavery on April 27, 1848. Slavery still exists in many parts of the world. Slavery is here imagined as occurring within the mind, as a lack of independence from a particular idea or way of thinking. The interplay of hierarchy and independence occurs in all of the incidents of employment attached to the offices charged with the enforcement of slavery. Slavery was abolished after the Civil War. However, it is a small price to pay for the end of oppression and slavery. The fact that the nation must expand into Florida and make it safe for slavery was not questioned. At first, this seemed strange to some of the staff, who saw it as only one step away from slavery. To make this clearer, consider the case of human slavery. He evoked portions of the Bible to justify slavery in a speech he prepared for a debate in the Alabama Senate. The reformers were charged with placing an abstract moralism above the discipline of the historical and present reality of slavery. Madison even helped assure his fellow Virginians that slavery was more secure than ever. "Come me, little washer lad, come let's away. We're bound down to slavery for 4 pence a day." This content is primarily intended to help you acquire and expand your English vocabulary. We are learning American English. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for considering subscribing to see more exciting videos.